Hey friends, welcome back to a new Python tutorial. Now today I'd like to share with you 3 ways how you can list files in a directory. Now let's start with the first one, which probably most of you are familiar with, which is the OS module, the operating system. In my case, I specified a file path, which is this one here. And this file path contains a few files, x86 files and I think also CSV files. Now, what I can do is I can import the module, so import OS, operating system, which is available by default if you have installed Python. You can run this, and then if I take a look at the directory, or the files in the directory, I can easily do this by running os.listdir, so list directory, and then I need to specify the file path, which in our case is simply p, because I stored the file path here in this variable. Now if I execute this, I will get all the files inside this directory. So it's dim tbl xlsx, allocations xlsx, and 3 CSV files. So far so good. Now of course I can, because it's a list, of course I can say I want to only have a specific item, like the first item. I can run this and then I get the individual item name. That's fine, but you need to be aware if you do it like that, list the directory, you only get back the file names. So if you want to read this file in a pandas data frame, for instance, you need to make sure that you combine the file name here with the path. Because only then Python knows, okay, you want this file in this directory. So that's something you need to be aware of. The second option would be the glob option. So maybe some of you know this, that there's a module named glob, and you can import it. So what you actually want is from glob, you want to import glob. Otherwise, if you import glob, you would write glob.glob. And if I run this, I have glob now available. And now I can specify here my files is equal to, and I'm using glob. And then I can put in my path, and I need to combine this. So that's why I write in a plus symbol here, and with a slash, and then I have the option to define anything. And if I only type in a star here, this means give me everything in this directory. So use the specific directory here, and then simply add a star. So by giving me everything in this directory. So let me run this. You see, now we are done, and let's have a look at the output. If we go with files here, files, we see that now we get actually all the files, but including the path. So that's a difference here towards the OS list dir. So here we only get the names, which we would then, of course, combine with the file path in order to load it into Python, for instance, using pandas or NumPy or any other kind of, module. And with glob, we get the whole file path. And we can also specify this here. For instance, I could say star.xlsx, and I can run this. And if I take a look at the files here, then now I have filtered my data to only the xlsx files. So that's also something which is helpful with the glob module in here. The final module, which is available for us, is the path module. So maybe some of you know this, others not, but it's also used actually quite often, so it makes sense to understand at least how it works. So what you say is you import it from pathlib, so from pathlib, import path. That's the first import you need to do. And then let me go inside here and then specify here what I want. So here I specify my path again. So I say I want to have my files, and my files this time is equal to path. And then I need to specify my path, which in this case is simply p. Like that. And we're good to go. And here we also have an option to now, let's say, go iterative through this directory. Like for the OS module, we had list dir, and for path, we have actually iter. So I can say for file in files dot editor and 2 parentheses here. So this now means we are looping through each individual file in this directory. And then I can say, I can do now anything. I can load the data in this file, or in our case, I will keep it simple. I simply print it. So print file, like that. And I can run this, and you see that here I get also the file path. So for all the files in here. Of course, here I also have the option to filter by the CSV files or the x.x files or the JSON files or whatever kind of files I have in here. The main important fact is that for the path, as well as for the glob item, I really get the whole file paths in here. Okay, and this is not true for the OS module. So even though it's probably very often used, make sure that if you want to load the data, that you combine, of course, the files in this list directory with the path, which is available in here. Otherwise, you will not be able to load the data, because this here is only a string. It's not a file path. On the other hand, with the glob files, this actually is a file path. And for the files from the path, actually, with this editor, this is also a file path, which can be loaded. Okay, so that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If so, then please leave a like and also consider subscribing if you don't have so far. So thanks a lot and wish you all the best. Stay safe and hopefully see you in the next video. Until then, best guys.